So I take possession of my new house and I'm super excited. I'm going to start renovations like as soon as I walk in the door. And yeah, it's going to be really great.
Before you start renovations, you need to watch this.
Oh. Hi everyone, I'm Victoria Mathis.
I'm Kasey Hacking.
And let's talk real estate.
Section 3 of the new offer to purchase is possession date, occupancy, and completion of transaction. So in part 1, it goes over that possession date cannot be given later than 6 p.m. on such and such date. So this is one of the biggest changes on the offer that is just totally different. We're used to making possession at 8 or 9 in the morning, and you get your keys, you go to the house, you test everything, and then you might even start moving in that day. For reasons that we'll get into a little bit later on, now the standard time of possession will be 6 p.m. or it could happen earlier than that, depending on when the funds for the mortgage or the purchase in general are received by the lawyer. So we're going to be looking at possession day as more of a walkthrough day now. Checking your meters, sending those in, checking that, make sure that everything works, that the property's in the same condition as it was when you saw it. And then you're going to want to book movers for the next day. So that's a big change.
Huge change, yeah. So in part 2, section 3, unless otherwise stated in part 1, section 3, on possession date, the included chattels, which we learned about last time, shall remain on the property while all other goods, chattels, and excluded fixtures shall be removed from the property, and the property shall be vacant of any occupancy.
So one of the big things that was not in the last offer to purchase is that anything that's not written in the offer as being included has to be gone. So if you're trying to leave your paint cans, your extra flooring, your broken light bulbs, your deep freezer, your whatever, if it's not on the offer, it has to be removed. So if you're a seller who is looking to leave behind your hide-a-bed or your futon or something that's super heavy, you have to get the buyers to agree to that and have it in the offer. Otherwise, you'll be in breach of the contract. Another thing about vacant possession, so sometimes you might be selling a property that you are renting out and the tenant is going to stay. So in that case, you would put their name in part 1 of section 3, and the buyer is agreeing to have the tenant still living there on possession date.
So another new part of the offer to purchase is that no later than possession date, the seller has to provide all the keys, access codes, and openers for the property, as well as the municipal garbage and recycling bins, if any. But one of the things that's also new and should be disclosed, that if you are a seller and you don't have a key for a lock, that is considered a deficiency in the property. So that is something you should disclose to a buyer, because it's important that they're able to access their property. But yeah, that's a new and a big one, and frankly a very important one, that it's good that the buyer can get into the property properly.
Yeah. You'd be surprised how many times they can't get into the property.
Yeah. You have to break in.
Yeah.
So going back to the biggest change for possession date is that it is now at 6 p.m. on the possession date. And the reason for this is so that the lenders and lawyers all have time for the for the funds to go to the seller. So this is a big one. And along with that, the proceeds of a new mortgage, the receipt of those funds, if they are delayed, the buyer may extend the time for payment of those funds for up to 7 calendar days after possession date under the following conditions.
So if your mortgage funds are a little bit late, it's okay. It's not going to cancel the purchase. However, you are paying interest at the Bank of Canada rate plus 7% on the balance of the mortgage that's missing. You also cannot make any alterations or renovations to the property at all until the funds are all in. The seller also might have extra expenses that they incur from the delay. And if that happens and those expenses exceed the amount of interest you're already paying, then they can also make you pay for that as well. before you can do any alterations or anything to the house, all of your payments have to have been made to the seller. Otherwise, they can put a lien on your house until it's paid. So nobody wants that.
No.
But sometimes banks need a little bit more time to get the mortgage funding to the lawyers, which is okay, but you'll be paying for it. And depending how big your mortgage is, the amount of interest will vary. It might not be very much, or it could be a lot. So this is something that you want to talk to your lawyers about, your lenders about, your realtors about, and if you really can't afford to pay an extra penny, then we have to make sure that your mortgage proceeds are in on time on the possession date.
So there is more important information about this in section 4, the purchase price, that we will be getting to next week. So make sure that you stay and watch that.